Hi, I'm Zach Stewart.
Laura Hotchkiss.
And I'm Daniel Kvoras. On this podcast, we improvise in character as hosts of a morning radio show in a fictional country called the Driftwood Isles.
Everything we say is made up, and none of the events, people, or places are real.
It's that simple. Now enjoy this episode of Good Morning Driftwood. And welcome back to Good Morning Driftwood. With me, one of your co-hosts, Dirk Wiley, and of course my lovely companions, Penelope MacGuffin.
Hello.
And that's a Bench PerDiem right there.
You're a rock star.
And he's still holding on to that, hey, now you're a rock star. He's got Smash Mouth on the brain. But what else? What is also on our brain, like that segue,
A skull.
is
Skin. Hair.
I guess it's encasing our brain is skin and hair and skulls. One, ideally, skull. You don't want multiples. And we're on to section 2 of our emergency survival preparedness.
Yeah, we only
Day.
have like an hour and a half before this exam, okay? And we are so behind on studying.
All right, so we got to cram it in. Penelope, take us to the next section of survival preparedness.
Right, what are the steps for shooting your bow properly?
Set a fire.
My God.
Run at it screaming?
That is not the answer. Okay, you know how in multiple choice...
Fire is my answer for most things.
But you
Run
know
at it
how-
screaming is mine.
Right, you know how in multiple choice question, like a multiple choice test, you think like if I answer B repeatedly, at some point it'll be right.
Yeah.
At no point.
It was last
this
time
right?
because it was number 3 on the list of water problems on how to solve
your
water
bit
problems.
wasn't. Your bit wasn't.
Hey, again, when we get to the bear section of this, I'm going to be nailing it.
You run, I think you just screamed. Do you run at the bear?
I think, again, make yourself...
Because that seems like you're attacking the bear and then it's going to act in defense and attack you.
I think it's kind of like, first thing in prison, you go and you shiv the biggest bear in the yard.
Okay.
So you approach
It's
bears like prison rules.
Yeah, it's shiv, not punch, right?
Okay, we gotta
Yes.
talk about...
Have a shiv
Do
immediately.
another murder.
Yeah.
We gotta...
How to handle prison, immediately murder a guy.
Immediately get another 20 more years.
Yep.
We got to talk about duct
That's how
tape.
you survive in prison. But how do you survive in the actual, real, not incarcerated world?
We
Penny?
need-
Good,
We
good
need-
segue.
We need to memorize the 10 things to do with duct tape.
Okay, let's get into it. The 10 things to do with duct tape.
Can I guess a couple
Yeah,
of
let's do
them?
some guesses.
Because I'm going to imagine that if we're going by sardine rules, we're going to have make a lamp, put some shit in it, feed your dog some.
The things to use with a tin of sardines, most of it was put stuff in the can.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I guess with duct tape, wrap stuff in it.
Wrap stuff in it.
You could take a bunch of twigs and wrap that. You could
You can put it over your mouth so you only breathe through your nose when you're sleeping.
I've heard that's really good for a restful night's sleep.
Yes, I've heard that as well. I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah, you cover your mouth. Could you use it as a hair tie by just tying it around your
Fun.
head?
To
technically,
tape
I'll
your hair to your skull.
give you that.
You can
because
use
it
it to-
kind of comes into 2 of them.
You can use it to
Two.
mark
Yeah.
spots on the floor when you're trying to hit your mark.
I'm going to ignore that one and go back to what I was saying, which is you
Rude.
could make cordage, twist one or several lengths of duct tape into a cord or rope, which you could essentially make something to tie your hair back. And the second one that I want to bring up is make a hat. If you're in danger of getting sunstroke
I
and
do
all you
that.
have is duct
I
tape, you
do
can
feel-
fashion a hat.
That makes our answer seem significantly more reasonable now, knowing that make a hat is on that list.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I also do that with most things.
It's true.
And you look great today.
That was the
Thank
one
you.
time you did have multiple skulls on your head. That one time you made a hat from a skull.
Mm-hmm. I
And-
found a bunch of rabbit skulls out in the woods, and I didn't question why they were all piled up in one particular place. I just took them all.
There's a bunch of
lovely hats.
incense, blood on the floor in a very specific pattern. You were just kind of cool with it.
There were a bunch of stars carved into the ground.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think this hat today
Some
that you've
names
made
and,
from a nice little
handprints.
newspaper is so much better.
Say that again?
This little newspaper hat you've made is so much better and less
yeah.
likely to get you hauled up in front of HR.
I thought it was going to be more whimsical.
It looks like it could be a little
No,
sailboat.
it looks jaunty.
Yeah.
I think it looks jaunty.
I was aiming for a lighter tone than the skull
Yeah.
hat.
No, I think that's great.
Good. So I can make a hat out of duct tape. That's
can make
nice.
a hat
I've
out of
never
duct
done
tape.
that before.
Yeah.
It's a new idea.
Oh, okay, other things. You can catch insects. Who needs fly paper
With
when you have
duct
duct tape?
tape?
Yep. Hang them around your bed and eating area to catch those annoying bugs. You can reinforce knots if you're worried about your knot slipping. Just wrap it in duct tape to help keep them fast.
Practical.
Which also is kind of offensive in our like nautical upbringing. You know,
True.
like
I have more faith in my knots than that.
yeah, like
if you need duct tape to reinforce a knot, that's not a very good knot.
I was
That's a
tying-
knot problem,
yeah.
not a tape problem.
Do you have good knot tying skills? I think not.
Funny.
Thank you.
Good. But of course, we all have very good knot tying skills
I
because we
was-
grew
we
up
do.
on the island.
Yeah, I was tying knots before I was walking.
Yeah.
So much. You had such dexterity as a baby,
And you were
Those
so
tiny-
bad at walking. You had so little lower body strength.
which
Just
I
no
think
desire
is
to do
because
it.
you were so preoccupied with tying
Oh,
knots.
true.
because I knew what the priority was. Like if I'm on a ship and we need to tie a sail in place, that is so much more useful than what walking to. I can crawl
Mhm.
there. I can do a butt shuffle there.
Yeah.
Like
You built kind of a marionette style pulley system
Mhm.
for your legs,
Yeah.
so that you could walk around without needing to actually physically use your legs.
also, I once tied a knot so well that it would support my own body weight, so I could just swing from one side of the room to the other.
You're a real Spider-Man child.
Like it was a real Spidey thing. Yeah.
Yeah, your parents were in awe. You were a prodigy. You were on the news.
You also got bit by so many insects.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got bit by a lot of spiders.
Probably if it had duct tape, I would have been better.
Ooh.
Mm.
Craft a spear. Cut a branch about 3 to 6
A
feet long.
spear?
Tape your knife to it firmly. Presto, you have a spear for hunting, fishing, or defense.
Find a stick, tape your knife to it, boom, spear.
There you
Sure,
go.
that also assumes you already have a knife and a big stick.
Tell me you
Could
didn't
find a
lose your
stick.
knives.
No, of course not.
You gotta have a knife, at least
Tell
one.
me.
There are currently hidden on multiple parts of my person.
And I stash knives around the wilderness.
Yeah.
And so I have little pockets and
Just
little,
in case.
you know, the little like owl houses that are the little
They're
in the
just knife houses.
yeah. I keep my knives there, and I made sure to befriend the owls so that I can get in there. Like,
Does explain why we had all those owls just die of what people thought were just murders because it was like aggressive stabbing wounds.
oh no, they were my knife protectors.
They must have flown into the knives.
I call them the guardians of Ga'Hoole.
Wait, I feel like I heard that before.
I think they
Did
made a
you-
film about it a while back.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But completely unrelated.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you've
Like-
told me this before.
Potentially, I love talking about
That feels-
Yeah.
the legends of the guardians, the owls of Ga'Hoole.
Yeah.
One of my
The
favorite.
film didn't go into this section of the story, though.
Yeah,
I
this is
didn't
the
watch it.
evolution. It talks about
Cool.
their ancient past,
Yeah.
the warrior race of owls.
Less
not
about
knives.
Beautiful film.
yeah, less about the danger of them finding knives everywhere.
Yeah. Well, now I befriended them, and so now they
know.
guard my knives.
Yeah.
In the woods.
Again, except the handful that did fly into the knives and died.
And some of them did take them, and it started a whole war between the different factions of the owls who were
God.
guarding my knives. So
Yeah.
in fact, I did just arm the owls to have more weapons.
One
And,
time I was like
they
walking the streets and I passed 2 owls facing off to each other with knives and like with their
Oh.
other little claw, they were clicking. It was real strange.
Also, they were snapping with the one claw,
Yeah.
and then they
What?
were having a
Wait.
knife fight
They
with
were
the other
facing
one.
off in
Snap
an
your finger.
alleyway.
Can you
No
snap your
one-
fingers again? You're doing it with your is it the ring finger?
Mhm.
I've never seen anyone do that.
That's fascinating. I always would go middle finger.
Yeah.
Metal doesn't really make a noise for me.
Interesting.
Huh.
No
Fun.
one wants to see gang violence between owls. That
No
must have
one
been,
wants to see gang
must have been
violence.
awful that
I
day, Penny.
honestly, I wrote a letter to our local Minister of Parliament.
I bet that solved it.
Hopefully they contacted the representative of the Owls of Ga'Hoole.
Yeah. Repair cracks. Repairing a cracked water bottle or pierced hydration bladder, a strip of DT. Oh, we're calling it DT now.
Okay, we're
Duct
real
tape.
friendly with it.
Hey. Speaking of
Duct
snaps,
tapes.
Just dry the
Oh, you
surface
should
before. the
contact
tape.
them about doing some advertising.
Yeah.
You can also cuff them. If someone is acting up during a survival emergency, you can duct tape their. Oh, it's very boldly said duct tape his hands together around a tree to prevent him from
Well,
becoming a danger
I mean,
to
Let's
himself
gonna
or
be
others.
honest.
Real.
It's gonna be a him.
It's gonna
It's
be.
gonna be
If
him.
anyone is freaking out in the woods, it's gonna be a him, and it's probably gonna be Bench screaming into the void.
Hey,
I didn't want to say this, but the book does actually say tape Bench to
Is
a
there
tree.
a photo? Is there a photo there? Is there an image of a person? Yep, that's Bench.
I'm not. Once again, I am not freaking out. It is a calculated strategy about my long-term survival in the wilderness.
You are fully cognizant, fully cool as a cucumber.
Yeah,
As
I
you
know what I'm
scream
doing.
into the darkness, run screaming into the darkness.
Yeah, and I get out of there alive every single time. Never died. 100% success rate. So
You can't argue with
that.
results, I guess.
Yeah.
You can insulate clothing. Layer the inside of your shoes and clothing to keep water out and seal body heat in.
That seems tedious.
And also not fashionable.
Yeah.
Oh no, the inside of your shoes and clothes. Mind you, if it was a nice suit jacket and that was the lining, that could be upsetting depending on if you were like unbuttoning to sit down on a talk show.
And it wouldn't move well. It wouldn't hug your curves.
No.
Yeah.
I reject that.
You'd have to like go a size up on all your clothing.
Affix bandages. So if you've got a dressing over wound, strap it in place. It does say here, hopefully you're not too hairy where you got injured.
Is there a way you could take care of that with the duct tape? With like a waxing?
you can wax.
You
A
could
wax
use duct tape to
beforehand.
like wax the skin.
Or 2 for 1, just do the wax when it comes off. The duct tape's coming off when you're taping the bandage on. It's going to come off. Like, why do it before when you could just do it at the end? You know?
That's true. It's really going to hurt.
Yeah.
But it's also going to be effective.
Because I feel like if we were to wax you with duct tape, when we came back to duct tape you for the bandage, you'd be like, no, 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 no.
Yeah. You'd be
I think if
traumatized hardcore.
If you're in that bad a shape that you need a bandage and duct tape over it, you might not be thinking about, oh, I should have waxed earlier.
I don't know if you're in that bad a shape, or maybe you're like, oh, this bandage isn't sticking properly and I'm going to still hike somewhere. So I just want it to like.
Then maybe you don't
On a
really need that
heavy duty,
bandage
yeah.
if you're cognizant enough to have these thoughts and haven't lost that much blood. Maybe just suck it up.
Yeah, but it's also, you don't want to get like dirt and stuff in it.
Yeah.
You know, you just want to like keep it protected from the elements. While you
It's not like you have
scurry for things.
crazy glue, which
Yeah.
is used to. Wasn't crazy glue invented for wounds in the military?
In the military?
In the military, they would get injured sometimes. Sometimes during war,
Wow.
It's
you get
actually,
minor cuts and scrapes.
statistically, you're more
And so
likely to
you-
get an ouchie if you're in the military.
That's what they refer to it in the handbook as.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You have any ouchies?
We, of course, on the Driftwood Isles, we don't have any land armies. We just have many, many navies.
Yeah. So they're really good at keeping anyone out if
Yeah.
they're trying to get to us. But if they break through those lines, we're
Oof.
done for.
Yeah, we have nothing.
We are completely unprepared for any sort of ground battle.
However, we do really stand by the fact that oceans are battlefields now, meaning that the
Yes.
land is not anymore.
Yeah. Napoleon made oceans battlefields, and that's where it ends.
Yeah.
So we moved, it's the evolution. We moved on from land
exactly.
battle into sea battle. And
We did a
presumably-
reverse, yeah.
And then one
Okay.
day will be space battle, and we'll preventing aliens from reaching us. And then we'll,
Exactly.
Right.
you know, if they get through that barrier, then we're
Okay,
screwed.
okay. So the 10th
Star
thing
Wars.
on duct tape
Star
was
Wars.
craft a sling. So you could craft a sling with it if you need to help someone with their busted arm. Now, how long did it take us to get through those 10?
His busted arm.
His busted arm,
Let's
yeah.
be honest.
Probably because you busted it while you were taping him to a tree.
Mm.
Does it say that?
He probably was struggling to get out of his restraints from
And
when he
he's-
was freaking out, and then he
Yeah.
messed up his arm, and so now he needs a sling.
Yeah.
Oh, or is this a thing of he was in cuffs and then he broke his own thumb to like release from
dislocated
the
it.
cuffs?
If it's tape, you got it.
Do you need a sling
presumably
for a
will
little
not
broken thumb?
Me? No.
be adorable though.
Yeah.
It would be cute.
Yeah.
Mm. How long did it take us to get through those 10?
To those 10, about 12 minutes.
Oh my God, we're never going to make it to this exam.
It's fine. We have another like hour 18.
Okay, the rule of threes.
Oh, like in comedy?
Yes, like in comedy, but also in survival.
Mm. Comedy is survival sometimes.
Oh,
If you get into a dicey situation, gotta come with those yucks.
hey, what about
If you ever get held hostage,
you gotta.
comedy is just the number one way hostages get out of
Do you
there.
think
Because terrorists and people who take hostages usually
You
have
gotta
great
laugh.
senses of humor. So if you appeal to
Do you
that,
think that
they'll let
comedy
you
is
go.
in here because that's also like a defense mechanism that people have? So is there like a manual to how to do comedy? Is
That's
this
a good
what this
point.
is?
Probably, but it's not in this one because what it says here. So, like, in survive anything, there's mental toughness. The strength of your will and the toughness of your mind can trump physical prowess in survival situations. You must learn to tolerate the intolerable, suffer through the insufferable, and overcome your weaknesses and your desire to give up.
Again, that
Sounds
sounds
hard.
a lot. That sounds a lot like trying to do comedy.
That sounds a lot like an early
Mm.
stand-up career.
Sounds like someone doing a Herald.
and it does sound hard.
What's a Harold?
We can keep going.
Also, you've
I
got
have
to
friends who do improv. It's bad,
You gotta be
That's unfortunate
aware-
for them.
and for me,
You need to be aware of panic. Panic is one of your worst enemies. Panic costs people their lives because it blocks logical thinking and allows a disconnection of your imagination from reality, which can be dangerous during traumatic events.
yeah. When you're trying again to do comedy to survive, you want
Panic
people
is
to
bad.
imagine. Yeah,
Mm.
Yeah. Motivation is the one you need to keep. So what motivates a person to stay alive when everything has gone wrong? Many survival stories speak of the survivor's devotion to higher power or their intense desire to get back to family, friends, and loved ones.
So a higher power, so God is a motivation, some type of whatever your God may be is a motivation to power through.
Or getting back to family, friends. It doesn't say specifically here, or your bird friend, but I guess that could fall under loved ones.
It's a subsection of friend,
Foul
comma
friend.
foul.
Yes.
Is there an index? Can we check that at the end of the book?
We'll get there. Be aware, ignorance. Despite the wealth of information available to the world today, there are lots of people who couldn't survive even a minor emergency. Most people assume that survival skills are easy because they look easy on TV, and so they
do though.
Overestimate their own abilities.
I'm gonna pause you right there.
Sure.
It does look pretty easy.
It does. It really does.
Yeah. So let's not be this self-important book. It's kind of pissing me off now.
Yeah.
Get off your high horse.
I mean,
you're
if
saying
you really
self-important book. This is the government manual for survival that we all have to study.
I don't understand why they are complaining about making it like survival look too easy, because you really just have to find one immunity idol and you're kind of done.
And they'll let
That's
you go.
all you need.
Also, it says
carry you through.
your God is going to get you out. What if your God is the God of chaos, i.e. panic?
That's
a good question.
That could be a problem.
Also,
that could be a real
panic
issue.
gets me out of most things. If people are like trying to get me to do something and I just freak out, they're like, okay, let's just move him along and get him through. Yeah. Like if your food hasn't come quickly enough at a restaurant, or there's a barista who's really just like giving you the condescending sort of side eye.
At service people in the service industry.
Yeah. If you just panic, they're going to want to get you out of there as fast as possible, so they're going to give you what you want.
You know that
panic usually solves problems.
You know that
my point. And also, I do worship the god of chaos and panic.
Yeah, you know that there won't really be like a service industry if something happens on the Isles. Like the service industry itself is probably one of the first things to go. So like,
I presume,
are you aware
I presume
there won't
this will apply to most situations.
But you're aware there won't be baristas, right? Like in the case of a lot of these emergencies, like there won't be baristas anymore.
But if there is an emergency situation, people need to be attentive and people need to be alert and people need to be aware. But if there are no baristas, that won't happen. So I presume the baristas will still do their due diligence for the sake of the community and give people coffee.
You're thinking that you're just going to rock up to the coffee shop and order your normal order?
It's an essential service.
Oh,
are doctors?
No.
They're good.
Are doctors not going to be still doctoring?
I mean, doctors probably, but I don't know if barista. What if there's no power? How did they work the coffee machine?
Heat the heat water up by some other means that we learned in this book.
Yeah, AeroPress.
I'm worried. I'm real worried.
They're good. I think the honor of baristas, and they love what they do.
They love it.
And their just honor and devotion to the community. Well, they'll continue doing what they do.
Go down with a ship. They're like the band on the Titanic.
Yeah. I hold baristas in very high esteem.
I just want
a noble profession.
Penny, can I ask a question?
Can I just run a test?
Can I just ask one real question before we move on from that last thing? Because that was marked as the rule of threes, and I believe you listed like 5 things.
No, I skipped onto a different thing because you got distracted. We didn't do the rule of threes.
Oh, that's a bummer.
We'll never know.
Yeah, I just want to test like what your first priority is in a couple of things. Okay, so earthquake.
Fire. Make a fire.
And then, okay, that's, you know what? At first I was like, I think he's going to go to the coffee shop on the corner. He's going to ask for his usual. He's going to chat to the barista who's friendly to him.
That's after the fire.
You thought
I set a fire. I'll set a fire, and then I'll be like, good, this is here now. And then I'll leave the fire and go to the barista.
Okay,
now
so
that is part of your like morning
concerned.
routine. Usually when you wake up, you start a fire, like, good, I know it's here, and you leave for work.
Yeah.
Because it's just like when I went into like a government overthrown, you did say your first priority was to do your full skincare routine in case you were required for some sort of higher power, like you were going to be.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to be the leader of the future, you're gonna need to look the part.
Yeah.
And so if your skin is looking dry,
it's just interesting that you immediately assume that like the government overthrown is probably because they want you to be in charge.
I don't see why else that would happen. If the government is overthrown, it's my time.
You were part of so many mutinies on a boat by an orphanage that I just think it's
that was
funny.
Jeffrey Danvers' time, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was little Jeffrey Danvers, the leader of the orphanage mutiny. That was his time. And he said that a lot.
Yeah.
It's like, now is my time. I said, you go, Jeffrey.
It's good when someone, to be fair, it's good when someone's got they know they know what they're doing. They know the steps to take. Like that.
Part of being a good leader is like delegating, knowing who to choose for your cabinet. Things like that, knowing where to step back, where to step in.
I'll bet Jeffrey and the kids on that orphanage boat would knock this out of the park. They're very self-sufficient, especially now that they have taken control of the Build-A-Bear boat.
Okay, volcano.
Now, and it is a Build-A-Bear boat.
Yes.
Right? It is where you build, it is on a boat, but you build a bear boat on it.
Yeah.
You can build a bear and you can also build a bear boat.
Yeah.
On the Build-A-Bear boat, you can also just build a regular bear, not a bear boat.
Yeah,
you can build a teddy bear.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we talked in weirdly intense detail about this one time when you were
after they took over the boat.
I'll be honest, I kind of zoned out because the moment we started talking about bears, I was thinking about running at them screaming.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Volcano.
I remember you said that
like 3 minutes ago.
Yes, a minute ago, and it piqued my interest before we carried on about the boat, which I'm glad we hammered down on.
Yeah,
volcano. Go on, Penny.
Was your first priority in a volcano?
Say more.
No,
I'm listening.
You know
my
though,
attention.
that a volcano is already pretty hot as it is.
Yeah, so you need to show it that you came to play too.
Shiv it.
Yeah. Gotta shiv that volcano with your own fire.
Dark, if we don't pass this exam...
Like a hotter fire.
You think you're hot, volcano? Take a load of this heat.
Dark, if we don't pass this exam, we have to go to summer school for a week.
Look, if the exam...
And we have gone every year.
Every single year we end up in the summer school. Every single year. Now, as we know, I'm a prolific studier. I love to study and take facts in. It's my panic when it comes to it that is the problem.
And also, we are graded as a group. They refuse to grade us individually.
They give us each a different section of the test.
Yeah.
And they're like, you are as one collective unit. You work as a team. You need to figure out how to work as a team.
The rule of threes.
Okay.
Rule of threes.
Yep.
Okay, 323, section 323, applying a tourniquet.
How do you do that?
Anyone got any suggestions?
Duct tape.
Duct tape was, oh my God, it was an option, yeah.
Boom.
Oh my God.
See, I can learn.
Yeah. We're evolving creature. Tourniquet. Okay. Do you have any piece of fabric and or belt and or a triangular tourniquet with you?
Yes.
Okay.
Cauterize the wound.
Oh, no. Apply the tourniquet. That's the first step that I would do.
Which one is correct? Cauterize it or apply the tourniquet?
And the question is, how do you apply a tourniquet?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, that was the question I asked, and I feel like neither of you really answered it. You just repeated the question.
I feel like
you just said some fabrics and then went apply them, and you talked about cauterizing the wound.
Do you want me to talk through how you?
This is literally applying it.
Great. What limb?
You
do it differently for an arm or for a leg. Depends on what part of the leg as well.
This is the first time all day you've had knowledge of something.
I think I've been answering.
Do you have to
similarly.
Do this often?
Yeah.
Bench.
Oh, I've applied so many tourniquets to myself.
Just for fun, recreationally?
No, for life saving. I keep cutting myself real bad.
Man.
Yeah.
You got to cauterize that wound.
That was that one time I tried to pet an owl and I got stabbed.
Cauterize the wound if you then you won't need the tourniquet.
I don't carry around cauterizers with me.
I gotta apologize for getting stabbed by that owl because I think I have to take some responsibility for that.
No, it's fine. I did mouth off to that owl. I kind of had it coming.
Okay. Well, then I'm glad he taught you a lesson.
I learned it.
You know what? I'm going to skip to making a good trade. Okay.
Ooh, deals.
Is this like
here we go?
What's like such
a the survival system has now gone on for a while. We've created a society that now is predicated on bartering and trading.
Yeah. We're really stretching the definition of survival here.
We've started to repopulate.
How long do you want to survive for? You got to have some, this is the new world.
We're building a society.
Yeah. And it doesn't get into when you start the radio station, but I'm sure that's probably section like 400. I think that would be the next edition.
And is that what all those blank pages at the end of the book are? Is it for us to write about that?
Write your own
story,
buddy.
yeah.
Wow.
But unless we sort out the power supplies, the trading, the new government, we don't get a radio station. Like that
We don't
comes
have to have
down
a
the
government
line.
for radio.
Yeah, we do. We
What
need
if
to get it signed
radio
off.
is the government? The laws are what we decree on the radio
We can trade our dulcet tones.
for subservience.
Okay, what do you think comes under like a low value trade?
Fire.
Bugs.
Bucks?
Sorry.
Okay.
Anyone can make a fire.
Did you just say
Anyone can make a fire.
not anyone can make a
I
fire?
think anyone can cook. That's an inspirational idea.
Anyone can cook, but not everyone can make a
I
fire.
don't
Everyone
think
should know how to
survival.
make a
I don't
fire.
know.
Fire takes skills. Bugs are worthless.
But
You
bugs.
can eat a bug.
Okay, they're suggesting 1 can of
Yeah,
vegetables.
but should you eat a bug? 1 can of vegetables?
One
That's
can of
worthless?
vegetables.
Also,
No, like a
cans?
low trade. So we're talking like
Do
one.
you know how many things you can do with
thing.
a can? At least 10.
Yeah.
You can
Put
make a
stuff in
lamp
it.
out of it, kill
Yeah.
bugs.
You can put stuff in it. You can put other stuff in it.
Feed
You
your
can put
dog
some
the
different things in
can,
it.
Make
You
a
can
trap.
empty it out and then put stuff in it.
Put sardines in it.
You can
and
empty it
then
out
eat the
so something
sardines.
so that an animal sticks its leg in it. Really seems really messed
Yeah.
up.
1 hour of unskilled labor.
That's worthless.
an
That's
insult.
worth at least
Also-
minimum
No,
wage.
we're not
Also,
saying,
if
okay,
you come
can
to
say
someone and say like,
worthless.
"Hey,
This
could
is
you give me an
low.
hour of unskilled labor?" You're essentially being like, "Hey, you have no skills." You're essentially telling someone that they're unskilled if you
It's the way-
ask
okay,
for
I think-
unskilled labor.
I think that's the way you frame the question. I think you go like, hey, do you want to come help me dig this hole? Rather than you want to do something that's going to
Wanna
require
do some
very few
unskilled
skills.
labor?
Okay,
Yeah.
but if you go
the
to
way you
Joe
frame it.
Dighole, who comes from a family and a chain of hole diggers, and that is their trade and their craft and their art, you can't call that
High
unskilled
value.
labor.
That is
Yeah, well,
high
look,
value.
this is part
How
of it.
dare you, Penny?
How
This is
dare
great.
you?
The
Okay.
good hole diggers of
That's
Driftwood.
so
Okay, first of
classist
all,
and pretentious.
as we
That
all
is a-
know, negotiation, part of this is reading the room. Okay, so if the two of you are thinking that you're just going to go in there and not read the room, this is just another example of the many,
I don't
many
read
times
rooms.
where
Rooms
we
read
get-
me.
this is, you are going to have such difficulty bartering. Such difficulty. Okay.
Oh, if we're bartering, can we do a good cop, bad cop situation?
Love this. Love this.
I think you should probably be bad cop. Be like, hey, buddy,
Do you
we
think-
love your unskilled labor. It's so we want. God, I want to pay you more, but my partner over here, he's a real loose
You got no
cannon.
skills. You're worthless to us. You can do nothing for us.
Hey, here's a cup of water. Just try to have this.
What do you think you would?
You bet you can't
okay.
even drink that water.
As an example, you've got 15 you're
dumb
trying to
idiot.
get 15 laying hens.
You're so stupid.
I'm
I'll
your
bet
friend.
I'll bet you. You're surprised you wake up every morning. You're so stupid.
I'm on your side.
What are you going to give me for 15 laying hens?
You
Laying
were
hens?
so
Yeah.
stupid to ask me that question. You stupid, stupid person.
Hey, have a glass of water.
That's
you
not
want to
Did
enough.
it work?
That's
Are they
not
going to give
enough.
it to us?
No. What are you
Oh.
going to offer me? You've not offered me anything. You've been abusive, and then you've offered me some coffee water.
What
I
do we
just
want?
said water. I did not say
What do we
coffee.
want in this scenario?
What are we trying to get?
15
15
hens?
laying hens.
15 laying
Yeah.
hens?
Just lazy hands that are lying around.
Of course,
Yeah.
you would have the laying hens, the hens that are just laying around doing nothing.
Hey,
Because you're a
yeah.
dumb idiot who lays about
got-
doing nothing all
You got
day long.
15 laying hens. I'll give you 3 laying hens for them.
Okay. No. I want 100 rounds of small arms ammo.
Absolutely.
There
not.
is no way
That's
I'm
a
giving
horrible
100
deal.
rounds. Because then I give you the ammo and you load up the gun and point it at us
You
and
know
say,
what?
give
You
me
know-
my hens back.
Okay.
I have an idea.
This is
for those
You
hens,
think
I'll
I'm that
give you
stupid?
one- I'll
I
give
see
you
through your
one-
plan. I see right through your plan, you stupid idiot who can't
Okay.
even wake
How
up in the
about-
morning.
Both of
How about I
you-
give you one round of live ammo?
Okay,
for
both
these
of you
hens?
seem real
Yeah,
hungry right
one
now.
round of ammo right to the
Give me
face.
those hens. I want those laying
Give
hens
us those
so
laying
bad.
hens.
You two, you seem real hungry right now. I can barely hear you over the sound of your tummies
I
rumbling.
am panicking.
The fest is going to have a
Tell you
great
what,
time
then.
editing this down.
5 gallons of gasoline.
Okay, how about 1 gallon and they set you on fire and your
bench.
entire family?
Sidebar,
has to give
excuse me,
those
miss.
fucking
Side,
hens.
May I
Sure.
have a sidebar? Bench.
I want those hens.
We can light so many fires with that gas.
Should we burn him? This is a new society. If we have so much ammo and gasoline.
We do apparently have a
Why
lot
don't
of
we have more
ammunition.
power? They should be respecting us more.
Yeah.
I think
I'm going to call him stupid again.
Yeah, let's try that.
You are so stupid to have gallons of gasoline and hens.
Do you know who we are? Do you know what we
Hens
have?
can't eat gasoline.
Okay, you've misunderstood. I'm saying you give me gasoline.
Yeah, we have gasoline.
We have.
We have-
Wait, we have the gas. What
Yeah,
do we have?
the gasoline.
Excuse me. Can I
So
side-
sorry.
can we
Sure,
start by-
absolutely.
We have
What
the
a-
gasoline and the ammo, so we have a lot of literal firepower. We shouldn't be giving them anything. We should shake the guy down. Let's shiv them.
Okay, let's go. Hey, idiot. I have all this gasoline, and if you don't give me your 15 laying hens, I will pour it on you and send you ablaze. You have seen me set so many fires, and you
Shiv,
know I
shiv.
can
It's
do it.
interesting that you say this because me and my community of 150 people have multiple snipers pointed at you right now. And we want the
sidebar,
ammo.
sidebar. That's more than the rounds of ammunition
I
that we
feel like-
have.
I
If
feel
we
like I'm
shoot all of
understanding the
them,
rules,
then it's
though.
only then there's 50 of them
I'm
left.
so sorry to interrupt, but your sidebars are incredibly loud and they're disrupting our school system over here. So if you can keep your sidebars down a little.
Well, that must be the stupidest school system ever. You teach them to lay about and do nothing, you stupid idiot.
Okay, once again, this is a full community. The two
Okay.
of you look hungry and dirty.
Listen, we have a tank.
That
It's
is
not
so
here.
that we can
have a
scare
tank.
cougars. You don't know anything about survival.
Okay, us in our new community are perfectly fine here. The reason we want the ammunition is because we have a ton of weapons and we're stockpiling ammunition. We got plenty of ammunition already. We actually don't need really the stuff that you're offering. We're just doing this as part of the bartering system, okay? We're not going to give you 15
Your
lean hens
system
for
is
no
broken
reason.
and your government is corrupt, and we are coming from you. And Judgment Day will soon arrive upon your
Okay,
doorstep.
The fire
of
of
you-
5 gallons of gasoline
Okay,
will rain down upon.
boys, duct tape them to a tree. Duct tape them to a tree.
Pour the gasoline
Quick,
on
gasoline,
ourselves.
gasoline.
Quick, you can't catch the fire on fire.
Okay, end scene.
Okay, did we?
Did we get it?
I think
Did we get
got
the
it. I
stuff?
think we got it.
Did we get the stuff that we wanted?
No.
Oh man.
No.
Okay, we're gonna have to keep studying.
You're going to have to keep studying.
Okay. Did anything that I say at any point make you feel like you wanted to give me the stuff?
Absolutely not. If anything, it made me want to see you die in a ditch.
The calling you lazy and dumb and that stuff didn't work?
You were rude
Threatening your
the whole
family and
time.
friends.
I was trying to neg you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought that would be
in
a
this
good
scenario. Dirk was into
I
the
thought
guy
that-
you were playing.
Yeah.
Dirk.
And I was envisioning a very handsome man who I wanted to sort of come over to our side.
Yeah. Okay.
I wasn't trying to barter as much as I was trying to seduce you to come over to our side and just give us all of the stuff.
The action Dirk was playing is seduce.
Yes. Did
Did
that
that
not
not come
did that
across?
not read?
That didn't read. That
That
didn't
didn't
read.
come across
It
as
didn't come across
seductive.
at all.
fully.
Were you were
was
looking
with
at
you. We
me
were
like
locked in.
you looked so into me during that. You're like, man, what an alpha. What an alpha man.
I was giving a lot of like, we're friends. This was really mess up our dynamic, but I'm really like feeling it right now.
Okay, cool.
Did that read?
Kind of.
Okay.
I was real locked. I was panicking. Again, I
was
wasn't
thinking a lot
really
about
picking.
fire.
I wasn't taking a lot of information in.
It wasn't.
I
the
was just
subtext.
panicking. Okay.
It's
gotcha.
just kind of like there, whether you pick it up or not. It's
All
fine.
right. Well, we need to take a break. So we're going to get into section 3 of our survival extravaganza next week after the break.
After the break.
After the break.
Right now.
We'll see you soon. Good Morning Driftwood is executive produced and hosted by Zach Stewart, Laura Hotchkiss, and Daniel Kvoras. Engineered and produced by Zach Stewart. Music by Daniel Kvoras.